There is a strange paradox hidden in the spiritual path. The harder someone seeks truth, the further they often move away from it. And nowhere is this more visible than in the search for the monad. Many seekers spend years chasing the monad as if it were some ultimate spiritual destination, a cosmic state, an enlightened realization, or a final achievement waiting at the end of the path. But here is the quiet truth no one tells you. The very act of seeking the monad can create the illusion that you are separate from it, and that illusion is the only thing that keeps the realization from becoming obvious. In philosophy, the monad refers to the absolute source, the indivisible reality from which all existence arises. It is not a thing among other things. It is not a location in the universe. It is not a higher realm waiting to be reached. The monad is the fundamental unity that exists prior to every division, including the division between seeker and truth. Yet most spiritual paths unknowingly turn the monad into an object of pursuit. People seek it, meditate for it, study endlessly to understand it. But when the monad becomes something to obtain, the mind quietly reinforces the idea that you are here and the monad is somewhere else. And that assumption is where the separation begins. The moment the mind says, "I must realize the monad," a subtle identity is created, the identity of the seeker. And the seeker always exists in relation to something that has not yet been attained. This creates a psychological distance between the individual and the truth they are pursuing. The mind divides reality into two sides: the seeker and the realization, the student and the truth, the individual and the monad. But the monad is not something separate from the one seeking it. If it were separate, it would not be the monad. The search assumes a gap that does not actually exist. And because the mind believes the gap is real, it spends years trying to cross it. But you cannot travel towards something that was never apart from you in the first place. Another trap appears when the mind tries to conceptualize the monad. People imagine it as a divine light, a cosmic intelligence, a higher self, a universal consciousness. While these things can be useful pointers, they can also become obstacles. But why? Because once the mind creates an image of the monad, it begins chasing that image. It tries to reach a certain experience, a certain state, a certain level of spiritual awareness. But every image the mind creates is still something observed. And anything that can be observed cannot be the monad itself. The monad is not an experience appearing within awareness. It is the reality within which all experience appears. When the mind turns the monad into an object of perception, it unknowingly places it inside the field of duality. And the moment that happens, the original unity is hidden again. Seeking also creates another illusion, the idea that realization exists in the future. The seeker believes, one day I will realize the monad. But this belief pushes truth into a later moment. It creates a timeline, a journey, a process of becoming. Yet the monad is not something that appears at the end of time. It is what makes time itself possible. It is the silent background in which past, present, and future unfold. If the monad were truly realized at a specific moment, that would mean it began there. But the monad cannot begin. It cannot appear. It cannot arrive. Because it has always been the underlying reality of every moment that has ever existed. Seeking therefore reinforces the illusion that realization is something that must be eventually found, instead of something that is already present. This is why many genuine realizations occur not when seeking intensifies, but when it quietly stops. At some point, the mind exhausts itself. All the philosophies, all the practices, all the conceptual frameworks. Eventually, the seeker begins to notice something strange. Every attempt to reach the truth assumes a distance that cannot actually be found. So the search collapses. Not because someone gives up, but because the illusion of separation becomes impossible to maintain. And in that moment, something simple becomes clear. The monad was never hidden. The only thing that obscured it was the assumption that it needed to be found. When that assumption dissolves, what remains is not a dramatic cosmic experience. It is something far more ordinary and far more profound. The recognition that the reality you were seeking was never outside of what you already are. Realizing the monad is not an event. It is the ending of a misunderstanding. The misunderstanding that there is a separate self who must somehow reconnect with the source of existence. When that misunderstanding dissolves, the seeker and the truth are seen as one movement. Life continues. Thoughts appear. The world unfolds. But the center of identity shifts. Instead of experiencing reality as an individual moving through existence, there is the quiet recognition that existence itself is appearing. Nothing was gained. Nothing new was added. What disappeared was only the belief in separation. And when that belief dissolves, the monad is not something realized. It is simply what has always been the case. So if you are seeking the monad, there is nothing wrong with the search itself. The path often begins that way. But at some point, the deepest shift occurs when the seeker begins to question the assumption behind the search. The assumption that the monad is somewhere else. Because the monad is not waiting to be found. It is not hidden behind experience. It is not located in some distant spiritual state. It is the indivisible reality in which the seeker, the search, and the universe itself are all appearing. And when that becomes clear, the search does not lead to the monad. It dissolves into it. If this journey spoke to you, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone ready to experience life beyond thought. Comment below. Have you ever noticed that the harder you search for truth, the further it seems to move away? I read every comment. If you would like to support my work directly, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/magnumopus333. Or you can explore some original merchandise at my Teespring store online. The link is in the description below. Remember, your consciousness is the key that unlocks reality. Let's keep unlocking it together. Thank you for watching. Until next time.